And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth.
There's two types of mosquitoes. There's the Aegypti, which is the Zika, and then there's the Anophelines, which are the malaria mosquitoes. He's absolutely right. The one thing I mentioned is the Wolbachia thing, which is ready for prime time. It could be rolled out in parts of Brazil or Puerto Rico as soon as we get regulatory approval. This gene drive thing where you can actually drop the populations, we think in a couple of years that will be ready. And the regulatory pathway for that is unclear. Now, people don't eat mosquitoes much, and mosquitoes are not, these particular species of mosquitoes, or a very small percentage of mosquitoes, are not key to like bat populations or anything. So I almost, I have to always show respect for people who think it's a scary thing to do. I don't think it will be. I think the way we're doing the construct will make it a very key tool for malaria eradication. But how we get approval for that, because it's a very novel thing, is pretty open-ended. So predicting when that'll get deployed, I would deploy it 2 years from now.
That messing with nature can prove to be fatal. Yet, in the quest for scientific advancement, humans continue to experiment with nature. Here's the latest one. In Florida, 12,000 genetically modified mosquitoes, the first such kind, will be released in open air for the next 12 weeks by autumn. This number is expected to reach 20 million. 20 million genetically engineered mosquitoes. What will they do? Scientists say these artificial insects will help prevent dengue and Zika. But the residents of Florida fear a mosquito apocalypse. Here's a report.
Dengue, chikungunya and Zika. They all come from the same family of viruses. They are transmitted by the Aedes aegypti mosquitoes. This species is found both in tropical and temperate climates, invading the Americas, even Europe. Now, a biotech firm has released a genetically engineered version of the Aedes aegypti in Florida. What for? To suppress the growing population of these deadly mosquitoes. Oxitec, a UK-based firm, is behind this technology. It has previously field-tested the insects in Brazil, Panama, Malaysia and the Cayman Islands. But until now, no genetically engineered mosquito has been trialed in the United States, largely due to pushback from American activists. Now, with an alarming rise of mosquito-borne diseases in Florida, local authorities have been forced to take this controversial step. Here's what the artificial mosquitoes will do. The males which don't bite will be released in the wild to mate with the female population. The female Aedes aegypti are responsible for biting prey and transmitting the disease. The genetically engineered males carry a gene that will pass to the offspring and kill female progeny in the early stages. The male offspring will not die but will become carriers of the genes and pass it to future generations. As lesser females are born, the Aedes aegypti population will dwindle. So how many bioengineered mosquitoes will be released? Around 12,000 males will exit their boxes over the next 12 weeks. And in the second half of 2021, 20 million mosquitoes will emerge over a period of 16 weeks. The mosquitoes carry a fluorescent marker gene which makes them glow, which in return makes identification and monitoring the trial easier for researchers.
The mosquitoes carry a fluorescent marker gene which makes them glow, which in return makes identification and monitoring the trial easier for researchers.
This step may have been taken to prevent the spread of diseases, but the residents of Florida are not too impressed. Many are worried that the mosquitoes will disrupt Florida's ecosystem. Some others fear that gene editing technology could turn haywire and turn the mosquitoes against humans.
Some others fear that gene editing technology could turn haywire and turn the mosquitoes against humans.
Scientists say that these mosquitoes pose no such risks. We expect the potential good to outweigh the potential bad. But this sure sounds like the beginning of a bad science fiction film.
Bill, how confident are you that we as a global community will deal with the next pandemic better?
Well, there were a lot of people in 2015 after the Ebola epidemic who were talking about what needed to be done. And in this pandemic, the countries that had some exposure to SARS-CoV-1 were amongst the outliers. So Australia is a true outlier. They orchestrated diagnostics, they executed quarantine policies, and they have a death rate in a different league than the other rich countries. I mean, just utterly different. And everybody had the capability to do that. They, have less PCR machines than other rich countries. It wasn't some thing. They have more travelers coming in from China than other countries. So hopefully, given the so many negative things, not just the millions of deaths and the economic toll, but the lack of schooling, depression, overdose deaths. I mean, it's hard to make the entire list. As you say, for men, more men died. For women, more women had unacceptable burdens thrust onto them. So the cost of being ready for the next pandemic is not super large. It's not like climate change where, 10 trillion, 20 trillion, these are big numbers. Global surveillance capability would cost like $1 billion a year. The R&D that we need to do to get magic vaccines and diagnostics and therapeutics, that's less than 100 billion over the next decade. So, if we're rational, yes, the next time we'll catch it early, and it won't go global like it did this time.
The next time we'll catch it early, and it won't go global like it did this time.